What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Silver Screen Shenanigans podcast, where we sit down, watch a movie, and just talk about it. This episode, we're going to be covering Captain Marvel, which stars Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, Lashana Lynch, and Jude Law. My name is Devin, and the question of the episode is, if you had to choose a power from an Infinity Stone, what would you pick? For me, probably Reality Stone, because I could have some fun with that. Just like mess with everybody's minds.
I got a question about that. Is it permanent or is it until you stop?
It's a proximity thing. Because like I'm guessing this is way down the line, but when Thanos uses it,
Who's Thanos? Who's Thanos? You can't tell about it. I don't know who he is.
when Thanos uses it in I think to like trick Gamora into thinking he's dead, and then he leaves with her, and then everything goes back to normal.
No, what happened?
He left.
What happens is they're shooting blasters at him, and he turns them to bubbles.
It's true. He does do that.
That is what the Reality Stone does.
That one turned into potatoes, right?
Yes.
Like some stringy stuff. That'd be horrible, dude. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. I can just like change everybody's appearance.
Yeah. You can just turn them into wood. You just touch them. You're like, oh, you're wood now. Congrats.
You're a puddle.
I don't like somebody. Rock.
So the minute you walked out a block or two, they turn back and get all mad,
That way you just have to talk to them. Yeah, I guess. My name is Riley, and I think I'd have to choose either the power or the space stone, because in this movie she gets her powers from the space stone.
Yeah,
and I think that's pretty cool. But
you can go.
It gives you a lot of strength and just actual power.
Well, if you know how to use the stone, you can go wherever you want.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean,
we'll talk about this later, but I'm confused about the power stone.
Well,
or the
we'll
Tesseract.
We'll see this a lot later in a bunch of other movies, but there's going to be more superheroes that get their powers from the experimenting with the stone.
That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that one. I don't know, man.
Who are you?
I am Jake. No, my name's Jacob. I don't know. I think it'd be cool to experiment with the Soul Stone or Time Stone, but I don't know really what the.
What does Soul Stone do?
It says control souls.
You just kill somebody and then you get it. So,
but the only thing we ever watch Vision do with it is just pull a beam out of his head.
Well, Vision has the Mind Stone. The Soul Stone we get from from losing a loved one.
Do they even use the Soul Stone?
Huh?
Do they even use it besides the fact to snap?
No.
Hmm.
I'm sure
probably because it's super hard to get.
Yes, I'm sure you could probably use it to switch people's bodies.
Probably.
Ooh.
Or put their soul into an inanimate object or something.
Ooh.
Are you thinking the Astro thing with Doctor Strange in them, where they can do pop the soul out of the body?
Ooh.
Something like that. Yeah, probably. I mean, not that extent. They could put that into something else.
We did see him punch Doctor Strange, and he flew his astral body flew out of him for a second. Yeah. I don't know if he's using the Soul Stone then.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is not. This is Captain Marvel. This is the second movie.
We're in the 90s.
Yeah, we're in the 90s, baby.
And then the time stone would be cool for time traveling reasons and whatnot and messing everything up. But yeah.
So this movie opens up with big blue strange explosion, and Carol is bleeding blue for some reason, and then this mysterious figure is walking towards her. Probably holding a gun. It's pointing at her, and then it cuts away, and it was all a dream. She wakes up on planet Hala, which is the planet of the Kree, kind of like their capital, I guess. And she immediately wants to train with this dude, which I don't remember what his name is.
Oh,
somebody give me a fact check.
Young Rogue. YONJROGG.
Rogue. Okay, we'll say Rogue.
That sounds cooler. That sounds a lot cooler.
She trains with this guy Rogue, which is basically she's kind of her handler. And he tells her to suppress her emotions, and he wants her to be the best possible version of herself, and yada yada.
She also she's not Carol yet. She's Veers
Yes.
because she
her
does
name is
not know
Veers.
her name.
And all we know about these two relationship is he found her somewhere. And that's it. That's all we know.
Found her and brought her and started training. That's all we know.
And so like their point is to like work to go to the Supreme Intelligence to like actually, because like her goal is to be actually a part of the Kree, because right now she's just a trainee.
I don't think she's been out in the field yet.
Right.
So she wants to go out into the fields. In order to do that, she has to get permission from the Supreme Intelligence.
Which is basically just the planet's AI leader.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's legit. Get your orders from an AI. And also is something we pick up pretty quickly on is the Kree. We're told that the Skrulls are the enemy and the Kree are the good guys.
Yeah,
And
they tell us that Skrulls go planet to planet, take over the entire thing, and then bomb it.
yeah. And they're like, the Kree's like, we got to stop that because they could come for us next.
Yeah.
And very quickly, okay, like I've seen Brie Larson and other stuff, but in this movie, dude, she is boring. Like,
Oh, we didn't put the disclaimer out there, did we?
Oh, we are going to dog this movie.
yeah, we're gonna
Very
crap all
hard.
over the movie because, like, I love Marvel movies, but there are 3 in particular that I do not like:
What? What are the other
Oh,
two?
yeah, what did it do?
Incredible Hulk and Thor: The Dark World.
Oh, we don't talk about Incredible Hulk. That one's
I
not
actually
really.
didn't mind Incredible Hulk. I kind of grew up on that movie.
Yeah,
when
who
it
knows
came
if
out.
it's actually a part of canon anymore?
And then why did you not like Dark World? Just a little side tangent, you know?
We'll get there.
Okay, yeah, we'll get there. Okay.
And so she's good in other stuff, but in this movie, she is just a plank of wood. She like conveys no emotion. She like the only emotion I get out of her is like her extreme like cockiness, and
I
it
don't
is
think
it
they
is not
do her any
attractive.
justice. They don't do her any justice because she's not supposed to remember who she is or how she's supposed to act.
Yeah,
We were talking about this.
That does not help the character develop at all.
right.
It really hurts it, if anything.
We were
And
talking about
there's-
this
yeah.
before, right? And
There's no progression at the end.
we really don't know why she's just like this plank of wood, like Devin said. But like, I think after just listening to what Devin said beforehand, like suppress your emotions and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like
They want her to suppress everything.
they don't want her to show anymore. That's why she's just this blank slate, you know.
It's possible.
So it makes
for,
sense
for the
why.
beginning of the
They're
movie,
trying to. Yeah.
but then it doesn't change.
Well, she gets mad and angry.
She doesn't get very mad.
and then
She tries to, you know.
Yeah. So
and also the
they
jokes
said-
don't land. The jokes do not land
Yeah.
for the most part. The
So-
only guys that are funny in this movie are Samuel Jackson and the guy who plays Talos, which I don't
I
remember.
like the cat too.
Cat's funny
It's pretty funny.
because it's not a cat.
So in the beginning of the movie, they say that the Supreme Intelligence shows up as somebody that you admired the most,
Mhm.
and he
Veers
Veers
doesn't know who this is.
Yeah, she has no idea who the Supreme Intelligence is. When they show up in front of her, she doesn't know who this person is supposed to be because she doesn't have any memories. So she gets the go ahead, right, to do her first mission.
Right. It's supposed to be simple,
Yeah,
like a simple like reconnaissance.
it's a retrieval of one of their
Right. Oh, yeah.
spies. So a spy is sending out a distress signal, and they're supposed to just go get him, bring him back. Simple. They go behind them. 3 bombers.
3 big ships with nukes
Yeah.
on it.
That kind of shows me these guys aren't good.
They don't care. I don't think they care about their people because on the off chance they think so they're going there to get one of their own, right?
Yeah.
On the off chance that the Skrulls are there, they blow this planet up. They don't know where this guy is. They could be blowing him up.
Well, they have the beacon. So
Right, they know he's on the planet.
no, they have his exact location
Like,
because that's how she found him.
Oh, okay.
the thing is, right? Like, you're a spy. You're supposed to be covert, in, out, undetected. So if
This
you,
guy sucks. He sucks.
well, even then, you're supposed to fly and get him and retrieve him with like minimal interaction with the enemy or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And they bring 3
And
bombers.
they bomb it. It says it's a Kree border planet, so they don't know if they're like Kree on there or not. They bomb it
Yeah.
with
No,
total disregard with who's on the planet.
They assume that it's been taken over. Probably hasn't. I mean,
And then they get down there and they tell, oh, yeah, so that they all wear masks. So we're assuming that they can't breathe in space or underwater, which, okay, that's fine.
that makes sense.
Then later in the movie, she's not going to need that mask. Or later within the other, like, movies, she doesn't need that mask, which is like...
Yeah, even in this movie, she doesn't need the mask later.
Well, it's kind of like explained, right? That's like the power part of it, right?
No. It's not explained at all.
She's above superhuman or like any organism at this point, and she just doesn't really know the extent of her powers.
So she can
I
breathe
mean,
space.
that's going to be another problem that I'll get to later.
Okay.
They tell Carol not to go off alone, which I think Riley picked up on. That's probably another indication that she doesn't. They want
to
her
keep her in the loop. It's a cult.
Yeah,
It's a cult.
Well,
they don't want them to get far away.
Well, yeah, when they jump out of the ship, they're like, for Kree. It's like, for the planet Kree. It's like, and then they all say it in unison, for the planet Kree. I'm like, oh.
There's something going on here.
And then she meets the dude, or at least what she thinks is the spy.
Yeah, they have special codes.
Right.
Like, you say half of it, they say the rest of it, or they say, So,
which is pretty smart because, to know who and who isn't Skrulls.
it's the Krills.
Skrulls.
I'm going to get that wrong so many times.
You just combine the two.
Yeah. No, that's my brain for you. I'll tell you what. So, she gets there. He gives her the code. Everything's good. And then, what happens?
He zaps her.
They start yelling that there's an ambush outside.
Oh, the sniper girl sees, like, so it's like a group of 5, right? And he goes up to the sniper girl, and she's like looking over the group, like, as the native people are coming out, and this guy comes up to her and says, false alarm, it's everything's good. And then he looks down and he sees a copy of him down there, and he's like, what? So then that's how you know and like every single person there is a Skrull besides like the 5 Kree members. Yeah, and then Veers gets zapped in the neck and she gets knocked.
You think that they're bad. I mean,
right now they appear bad.
The
yeah.
The Skrulls appear bad. So Brie gets I said Brie, like Brie Larson. So
Veers gets zapped.
Veers gets zapped in the neck and she passes out.
That guy with the swords though, that was pretty sick.
Oh yeah, no, he has really cool swords. They had a swordsman, a brawler. It was like you just had like gravity gloves.
Yeah.
That's the guy that's from the first
Guardians,
right? Okay. I thought so, but I just didn't know.
The swords guy?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He takes Peter Quill into custody for some reason. I don't know.
He's more like cyborgish in that movie.
Yeah.
But this is like before then.
Huh.
But it makes sense since Kree is still in like the
same character or just same actor?
same character.
Same character.
And actor.
Okay.
And then like it goes dark for a second, and then we're going.
They're in her memories, but they're talking over the memory. So she's like remembering these things, and he goes, "No, go back. All right, focus. I need you to focus on those numbers."
So the memories are looping, which I don't know if that's how memories work.
I don't
but
think so.
It's weird alien tech. So
It's basically they were searching her memories for whatever they were looking for, right?
Yeah.
a name. They needed a name.
They're like, look at her jacket. Focus on the jacket.
You know how annoying that'd be if like you're just dreaming?
That would be so annoying.
And so they find out like who this name is, and like they find Project Pegasus, and they find like the name Larson on, but they don't know which. What did they? Yeah, they know what planet it is. C050 something.
35, C53. C53, I think.
Which is Earth.
Yes.
Yeah, everything in this movie got to go back to Earth.
Why is everybody interested in Earth for no reason? You know,
Well, some stories we get an explanation. Some stories we don't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nobody who lives on Mars except for Martian Manhunter, but that's from a different universe.
Yeah. What DC? What's DC?
What is that?
And then so she breaks out, obviously.
Oh yeah, no, really cool breakout scene though. I mean, if they didn't make bad jokes the entire time, it'd be a really cool breakout scene.
Oh yeah, the girl power scenes. Those lines are so cringe.
No, it's not. It's not that for me. For me, it's she hits them really hard over the head and goes, like, oops, didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, she'll do that a lot later, where she's blowing up the nukes at the end.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Woo, having it." I'm like,
she's having so much fun.
Your friends are dying on the ground.
Well, they weren't technically dying. She's stopping it.
There was blowing. They had a hole in their ship, and they were like crashing.
Well, that was like the first time she like flew with her powers, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so
we are way in the end of the movie.
So yeah, she I love
so
powers.
She breaks out.
Forget my friends.
She breaks out of the restraints, and she just starts beating these people up with her hands bound.
Which is weird. She could break out of it, but she can't melt the thing with her powers.
Well, I think what she did was she heated it up, and then was strong enough to like pull it to break it.
Why didn't you do it immediately? I don't know.
Who knows? Well, she had just woken up.
She
guess,
can
right?
feel pain, correct?
Probably.
Do you know that?
Also, she bleeds blue now.
Yes.
She's a human who bleeds blue.
Well, that's because of the powers.
No.
Yes.
No, it's not.
No.
No,
She has the powers at this point. They're
Right.
just super suppressed.
Wasn't it Rog or whatever, like her mentor that gave her the
Rogue.
blood?
Rogue,
yeah.
Rogue.
Yeah, so he goes, this is way further.
Okay.
Never mind. We'll talk about it later.
So
So
what-
she breaks out, and then she meets the head guy. What's his Talos? She
Yes.
meets Talos.
and he says a lot. He says a lot of cryptic stuff.
Yeah.
About like, I like something about secrets and like.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours, and it's like, what does that mean?
Was he like trying to like see if like her memory would jog just by doing that or something like that? Or
I don't know. He also, before she broke out, one of the guys was tapping on her forehead, and he's like, "Hold on, that did something."
Do it again.
It was like a radio static.
Oh, and there's a lot of moments in this movie that make you laugh for the wrong reason.
Because they're so bad.
I wish I would have wrote down what it was, but it was a.
It was the fight scene between her and 5 of the Skrulls.
you're talking about on the ship?
Yes, and then she like beats them all up, and one of them falls on his own gun, shoots his head off, and she goes, "Huh, like that's funny, but not because of you."
It's bad. And then we talked about the helmet going into space. It's kind of weird. And then she gets into one of their ships.
The escape pods.
And it gets damaged.
She blasted a hole in the side of the ship. The ship's going down. Straight up.
It falls into the planet that they're over, which is Earth. And she lands into a Blockbusters next to a Radio Shack, and you hear like 90s music playing. I'm like, get it? We're in the 90s.
I want to talk about how poorly that ship was built. Like, sure, it got shot, but it fell apart upon entry. Like, her falling into the earth, the bottom of it just dropped. Like,
yeah, she was hanging. It's like she was hanging on parts of the ship as she fell onto
not
Earth.
a good ship.
Well, didn't she damage it or just?
No, like he shot at the control panel.
Yeah.
Which means she can't control it. It's just falling. But also, it shouldn't just evaporate.
Well, think about it, like when they came down the space shuttle, right? If they weren't orientated right, and that heat shield wasn't on the bottom.
Yeah.
It would have ripped it to shreds too. You know.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, she lands in the Blockbuster in front of a cop.
And she walks up to the cop and she's like,
Is this C-53?
I think I looked it up. Is Earth 616? But also the Kree could have called it something else. I don't know.
Oh.
In the Marvel universe, it's Earth
I
616.
think Earth 616 is the multiverse.
Yes.
That it is. Yeah.
and then he's like, are you like in charge of this, in charge of this area? He's like,
Are you in charge of this district?
I guess, but there's a guy over there in the mall.
Yeah, he's like they have their own guy at the movie theater.
I don't know why this guy's funnier than half the cast.
Dude, and then he just sits there.
He just sits and he calls it in, and he just sits there all night.
Also, she sits there all night because she doesn't leave.
And it's lucky for her, I guess, that the payphone is compatible with her technology.
Too many coincidences. Just too many of them.
It's not like she even like re-engineered the phone or anything. She just connected a couple wires.
She ripped it out and then she just plugged in her thingy. Which maybe they have high-tech technology that can make anything compatible. Because it was kind of staticky, but also, what?
And then S.H.I.E.L.D. shows up. Agent Coulson and Agent Fury show up, which is...
I thought it was cool.
It was pretty cool. And the CGI doesn't look bad.
Making him look younger, you mean?
Making him look younger.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how like they're gonna need to ask her a couple questions. They're gonna need to come in with us. And then one of the scrolls like try to snipe him. And then you get this like
she's explaining all this stuff. She's like, yeah, there's these green guys. They're gonna attack. They're gonna take over this world. And he goes, what are you talking about?
You thought she was crazy at first.
Yeah, right? No. Then they get shot at by a space weapon.
Yeah.
And she shoots plasma out of her hand.
Like right at him. And then gets a cool little chase scene on a train. And then not because of any characters in the movie, the only part of emotion that gets me for this movie is the last Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah.
Because he's reading a script for Mallrats, which is his first movie that he ever directed. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, ooh.
Also, there was at the beginning of the movie, there was a Stan Lee.
Oh, yeah.
All of his cameos throughout all the movies that we'll talk about later, but had happened before this movie.
Did you? A little side note: they're debating on trying to get Mallrats 2 out. Like,
I don't know what Mallrats is.
I've never seen Mallrats to begin with.
All right, you guys brought it up. I haven't seen it either. But that's the thing.
I just knew it was his first movie that he directed. And then
so another part of the train scene that kind of confused me. Well, it didn't confuse me. It was just like, that's too coincidental.
What,
she bumps into the old lady.
Yeah.
The scroll changes into.
Mm-hmm.
He could have picked anybody, and he picked the one lady that this girl bumps into.
I don't necessarily, with most movies, I don't necessarily mind a couple of coincidences, because in some movies, you don't get the movie without coincidences. But in this one, it's a lot.
How did she even pick out that person again? She just looked at him like, you're it?
Well, she bumped into the old lady.
And then she sees the old lady again, and she's like,
Either that was him or this is him.
See, that leads me to my question. How do they know who's a Skrull? Because she could have just punched the old lady, because she didn't know which were which.
Yeah, old lady's dead. Old lady, dead, right there.
So I don't understand how she just knows who's a Skrull and who isn't a Skrull.
She likes to gamble, Roll them dice.
Complete
disregard for people.
So then in that chase scene, it's shown to us that, is it Agent Coulson?
Yes.
Is actually a Skrull at this point.
He calls Fury and he's like, hey, everybody left, and am I supposed to stay here and pick up like evidence? And then they get...
Yeah, he was in the car though, so
yeah. Which is kind of weird.
Wrong. And then Fury gets in a car accident and kills one of the Skrulls.
True.
Kind of gangster, but also like,
ooh. Yeah, because what we know later. Ooh.
Ooh.
Whoopsies. Hindsight, Yeah, and the payphones, Blockbuster, internet cafes, the music. It's the 90s, guys.
Anything 90s, they shove it down your throat in this movie.
And then like when she was in the Blockbuster too, and you see all the old movies in the background.
What the 90s really were like.
No.
So that's what really gets to me, I think. That's why
you see all the old movies in the background. Like you saw The Adventures in Babysitting, you saw a bunch of and I'm like,
Hook was in there.
Yeah, Hook, and it's like, oh yeah, a bunch of movies that are just better. It just remind me of a bunch of movies that are better.
I gotta mention something later. I think it's about that fight scene, but it's about the music. later on. So just remind me when we get to that point.
Okay.
And then she leaves. She like gets away from like the two agents, and she picks up a map, and she's like, I can't remember where she's going.
She's trying to get to the air.
Yes. The airbase.
No. To the bar. She wants to get to the bar that she remembered.
And so then you get this biker guy who shows up, and he's being a bit of a jerk. Because he's like,
it's the 90s, you know, because harassing women was cool in the 90s.
You're talking about it still is. I'm joking.
Whoa.
It's a joke. It's a joke. He was being a bit of a turd.
Yeah.
But
and she steals his bike.
But heroes do not do what she do. She steals his bike, and she steals clothes from
A mannequin.
the mannequin, which did nothing wrong to her. The store did nothing wrong to her.
She owns them. I mean, she deserves these clothes and this bike.
Yeah.
Well, like in her eyes, right?
Because she's a krill.
She's a krill. She's like the superior race, and it's for the better good of
Kree.
krill.
Kree.
Yeah,
Kree.
krill. You got me saying krill.
I told you I'm going to say it.
Kree, scroll.
But like they do everything for Kree, right? And so
Yeah.
this was in the better odds of.
Which might be a reason why her character is so unattractive, is because
She's been very.
she's so arrogant.
Yeah, 100%. And then
So we find out
she
that
gets to the
the
bar.
bar
And Nick, Fury.
yeah, Fury
I don't want to be taken out. Fury is there already.
tells the bartender to just like buzz off, basically.
Yeah, because nobody calls him Nick.
Right.
That's how you know.
He tells us that here, where it's like we find out a couple things about. She tells us that Skrulls only remember recent memories, so she's like, Tell me something that only you would know. And he's like, well, I was born in Birmingham, Alabama.
They don't know each other.
So yeah,
how would he? She doesn't know if he's
he
just
could be
making this up.
could be making all this up. And then she's like, all right, well, I guess I proved to you. He's like, tell me something you do. She shoots the jukebox, which that was the bartender's jukebox.
And
like
then he's like,
another scene of she just
"How
does
do I
not care
know-
about people.
How do I know that they can't do that?
Yeah, all he knows that
And she
Skrulls
just
can do
goes,
that too.
They can't.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
The first time they met, right? He didn't even know like really much about aliens.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Um,
So in that like explaining he is him,
Yes.
he says, "No, I only go by Fury."
He's like, my mom calls me Fury, my brother calls me Fury.
He says,
And if you have kids, my kids are going to call me Fury.
he says he will never eat a sandwich if it's cut diagonally.
Which we have a problem with, okay?
That's an issue.
Can we bring this up now? Because no?
We'll wait.
No, we have to wait.
We have to wait.
And then he also says something else that like it's definitely him, wasn't it? Didn't he? Or am
I thought it was just those two things.
And then he just says where he's from.
Yes.
I guess. Okay.
He's like, well, he's like, I was born in Birmingham, Alabama. He's like, I don't remember the first part of that day, but my mom told me it. And so then they do a little investigation at Project Pegasus, which is a high-tech security thing in like, I don't know, I'm guessing Arizona. I don't know, it looks like Arizona.
I think you probably said
It's like some Area 51 stuff.
Yeah. Everything is super airtight.
Top secret. Which
Yeah.
I don't know if this is SHIELD because
It is
From-
Shield.
From the research I did trying to figure out about the whole thing we're going to talk about later, like the stones,
But they're keeping it airtight.
it is from S.H.I.E.L.D., but it's like high up rankings we know about. Because think
Yeah.
about it right now, Nick Fury doesn't know about this.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the guy who took his level, his key card level pass,
Yeah.
didn't he was like level 7 clearance.
That
He
is-
still was not allowed because he was going to get arrested.
something I will admit though, it is kind of fun to see Nick Fury as like just starting out
Yeah.
and like not the super cool know everything guy that we'll see later in the movies.
Yeah, because in this movie he actually like gets a character. And
He grows up a lot.
Yes, yeah. He goes from a rookie,
Who's super
he's
naive
a
about
rookie compared to
Yeah.
how like an alien's
yeah.
information.
He didn't know that aliens were a thing. And,
Yeah.
and by the end of the movie, he's like, oh, crap. We got to
Yeah.
do something.
I think this is where his trust issues start.
Oh
So-
no, 100. I mean, they start a little later than this, but yeah.
And then the tape thing.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Would it work though?
Yes.
Yes.
That's how they do it.
The tape thing.
I know what you're talking about. That's how they get people's fingerprints.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
like
they do it all the time.
Now it's more of it's for like
So like the
criminal,
pressure. So like the pressure and the
right,
heat
but
doesn't
the
matter.
Pressure and the heat stuff that would matter. It would not work on a sensor, but it would work to find who they are.
Well, fingerprints. Oh yeah, I'm not talking about. I'm not arguing fingerprints.
Okay,
I'm talking
okay.
about like the sensor thing.
Yeah, no, the sensor shouldn't work.
I'm just saying, in Ant-Man, he does the same thing.
Well, Ant-Man is not this.
We'll get to it. We'll get the problems with Ant-Man later.
Movies are real, okay?
So the only like in sensors, you normally have to have it would check a heartbeat. Like that's why I would want my sensor, if it's a fingerprint sensor, I want it to have a heartbeat. I want it to make sure that
Were
it's a
they
person.
that advanced back in the 90s?
They had fingerprint recognition. I assume so. They are also S.H.I.E.L.D.
I don't know.
They also had spaceships.
They're
thought-
using the Tesseract.
That's also true.
So-
Like, I just never. I thought it scanned your fingerprint. That was it. I didn't think there's any way for them to know if there's a heartbeat.
Yeah,
if
I don't
there's
know.
heat.
That's what I was thinking. I think this one was probably just a scan.
Probably.
And then they get out because it works. And,
And then
they get to the next door.
Fury calls Shield to
Yeah.
come get her.
He pages it.
Because I guess he still
He
doesn't
pages
trust
his
her. I
boss.
guess.
He pages his
Yeah.
boss.
The head of Shield, and they come to get her, and then, which they ruin the twist. Like when Fury kills the scroll, and like his boss is there looking at it, the guy bends down and says, "I will avenge your death." And I'm like,
No, he doesn't. I think he goes, rest easy.
yeah,
my
rest
friend."
easy. He's like, out, and it's like that could have been a really fun like twist towards down the movie, and they just have to ruin it immediately.
Is this before or after he says Nick?
This is before.
This is before.
Oh wow, jeez.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And that could have been the twist right there where he calls him Nick in the elevator. And then he's like, what?
That would have been such a good twist.
Yeah.
But they ruined it.
And then Nick,
Can we-
and then Fury goes, it'll be just like Havana.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah,
"Yep."
just like Havana. And I'm like, and then Nick's like, nothing happened in Havana.
Where is Savannah? Yeah.
Can we
So
just
he's
talk
like-
about the little like scene in the coronary's office or whatever they call that thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
The dead-
Oh,
the dead
they
alien.
check out his southern regions.
Weird.
Why? I don't know. Why?
Curiosity kills the cat, right? Like, do
didn't-
they?
Didn't the head guy do that too?
Yeah, they both looked at
They
it.
both
Yeah.
look
So
at
the
it.
actual alien looked at his other alien's wiener.
Well, he's under disguise, you know. They're both curious. Humans don't know about aliens.
No,
They're-
that's
That's kind of sus, Talos. That's kind of sus, Talos.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, a lot of dumb, weird things plague this movie, and it's a lot of problems have little mistakes here and there, but there's just the amalgamation of all of them just destroy this movie.
Yeah.
Um,
So he goes, I'll get off on. Okay, all right.
yes.
They find
Oh yeah, they get the files.
The
Yeah.
files. They find the files.
Most of
and
them have been classified.
Yeah.
It was like, because government.
Nick goes and gets the head guy who just showed up.
She finds out that she was the pilot that flew like the experimental tech. So like memory fragments of her memories are coming back. And she's like, how was I here? How did I fly? And like, but I'm Kree, so she's conflicting, which that's a solid idea to have like your main character like conflicting of like who they are, which that's not a bad idea.
No, the bad idea.
Then they squash it.
The bad idea comes when nobody cares.
Can we just talk about how like you think maybe she's like maybe I am from this place? Like,
Yeah.
Why doesn't that cross her mind? She's hanging out with these aliens that look weird, look nothing like her,
Mm-hmm.
all day, every day, and suddenly she comes to the planet and go, oh wow, everybody's the same, just like me. You know?
I guess Rogue looks like her, sort
Except
of.
for his eyes.
His
man.
eyes are weird.
But
yeah.
they're not the same. Like there's obviously something off and different about
Right.
them, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
think her having powers and blue blood confuses her. So
And then memory gun, you know.
And then so she finds that out and she's like, wait a minute, what's going on? And then they break out of Shield because
well, the
Shield boss knows that she knows too much. And Fury is with her now. So Shield's boss wants them dead or alive.
Well, that's because.
And then because he's evil.
yes.
Well, he's
He's a Skrull.
Because they spoiled that for us.
Yeah.
And then Coulson finds them in a hallway. And, dude, I love Coulson so much.
Coulson's awesome.
I love him. He lets him go, and he's like, dude, I love Coulson so much.
There's a reason why they kept him around for so long.
It's interesting, though, because he is, like you said, he's a very monotone, like, matter-of-fact guy. But there's something just so lovable about him. And it's like, I don't know. I don't understand how to describe it, but he's so cool.
Did you guys, I don't know if I should wait till, like, Avengers for this.
Probably.
Okay, well, then, yeah.
Because
Coulson's awesome.
If it has to do with the Avengers, probably.
Well, no, it's more just like MCU in general.
okay,
But it does deal with the fact that something
happens to Coulson.
Yeah, we'll just do it. We'll just do it then.
Okay, yeah.
And then so like they're flying away in the ship, and just the chemistry is off between Fury and
They find the cat there. That's where
the
the cat is.
The cat is hanging out in the ship.
Yeah, he just
For
shows
some
up
reason.
in the ship, right? That's it.
For some reason, Shield has a Flurkin.
It's a Flarkin.
At this point,
okay.
does she know yet that it's a Flurkin?
No.
It's just a normal.
Right, we just think
They
it's a cat.
think it's a cat.
Well, put some respect on his name. It's Goose.
Yeah, Goose. Goose. My bad.
Which, reference to Top Gun, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
I thought that earlier he was like, my first pet's name was Goose or something like that, and then this cat's name is Goose or something.
I can't remember, but like it definitely is because like they're all like fighter pilots and whatnot, and like they love Top Gun. Obviously, who wouldn't be if you're a pilot?
I mean, I'm sure some fighter pilots probably don't like Top Gun.
The chemistry is off between Fury and
They've known each other for 2 days.
Carol. At this point in the movie, you don't know what to call her because like she knows her real name. I'm pretty sure from like the information as Carol Danvers, but like she's conflicted right now. So like Carol Veers, who I'm just gonna start calling her Carol
Whatever
now.
this person is.
They start joking around, but like it's two people. But the best way I can describe it's two people who
don't know each other.
are trying to perform that they know each other, but they don't know each other because they've only known each other for 3 days.
Well, you can't like it doesn't mean you can't have a fun time and joke around with somebody you've never
it does. 100% it does.
No, I'm not saying you can't do that. It's they're trying to.
It's like they have inside jokes after 2 days of knowing each other.
Yeah.
Well, they have been through a lot as well in those 2 days.
Government agency tried to kill him, I guess.
So they find out that the only other person who was there at the time of the space flight was
Marissa Rambeau,
who they go and meet in Louisiana.
Which is cool because her daughter's
She's gonna play a
character later.
Much later.
Much later.
Yeah.
You guys better explain that one.
Yeah, he hasn't seen
Yeah, we'll get there. So they get to her because it's not hard. They know where she lives in Louisiana.
Yep.
Down in the south.
Bayou.
In the bayou.
Nah. So she meets up with this lady.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't really know who she is. Little girl jumps out of the airplane and goes, "It's Aunt Carol."
Carol doesn't know who
I don't know who you are.
So yeah, like they know who she is, but she doesn't know anything about them. She's like, "I'll go get your stuff," and I'm like, "That won't matter because she won't remember any of it."
Yeah. So I mean, she's talking with these people. She doesn't know who they are.
Yeah.
And they're explaining to her like, you were.
And then
this.
I love that. Like, so right before this clip we got for you guys, that the Carol goes, she tells him everything, like about she tells him everything about the scrolls, the Kree, and then
Fury goes, "I thought we weren't going to tell these people about all these
the
aliens."
green mist.
It also makes sense for the fact that like you don't know if one of them is
Exactly. Why tell them all this?
She makes a terrible spy. If she ever had to be one.
Dumb decisions.
Awful.
But so like Fury and her daughter leave the room, and her friend, quote unquote, because they don't know each other.
Yeah. So she does not know this lady.
They sit down and they have like a little heart to heart. And that's kind of the clip that we have for you guys.
You don't remember anything?
I see flashes, little moments, but I can't tell what's real. If I could just piece together what happened that morning, maybe it'll all make sense.
You woke me up, banging on my door at dawn. The usual move. Back then, we had to get up so early. The Air Force still wasn't letting women fly combat, so testing Lawson's planes was our only shot at doing something that mattered. You wanted to race to base, and you rode a Mustang, and I wasn't about to argue because I knew my Camaro would dominate, but you cheated, took a shortcut.
Since when is a shortcut cheating?
Since it violates the predetermined rules of engagement.
I definitely don't remember those.
Of course you don't. When I got to the hangar, Lawson was agitated. She said she had lives to save. She was trying to take the aces up herself, but you said
If
that...
there were lives at stake, I would fly the plane.
Yeah. Yep. Big hero moment. The kind of moment we've both been waiting for. The doc was always unique. That's why we liked her. But now you're saying she's from another planet.
I know this must be hard for you.
Oh, this part right here? No. No. Mm-mm. No, what's hard is losing my best friend in a mission so secret they act like it never even happened. Hard is knowing you were out there somewhere too damn stubborn to die. And now you come up in here after 6 years with your supercharged fire hands and you expect me to call you, I don't even know what, Veers? Is that really who you are now?
I don't know.
Okay, so
wanna talk about
Lashaya Lynch, her name, yeah,
Brings the emotion to the
yeah.
to
When
the movie.
when she shows up, that's when there's actual weight to this movie.
Yeah.
Because her monologues actually, like, she's conveying emotion of a lot. Like, this is when the movie gets real. Like, she has a lost friend that just showed up and she doesn't even know who she is, and it's like, this is hard, you know. That's like, it's real stuff going on.
In that, you heard him make a joke. She's like, "Oh, I definitely don't remember the rules that we made." And I was like,
Because you don't remember
"Well, you
anything.
don't remember anything, so obviously."
And so something that also plagues this movie is the try-heartedness of, like, I'm a woman, I'm strong. Instead of, that is so heavily forced. Instead of, like, giving our characters, like, instead of making a good story, it's just like feminism turned up to the max. And it's
I don't have opinions upon this.
yeah, because nobody else wants to talk about it, but I will.
I will have
you
to
you
mention,
you sacrifice a good story just because, look, she's a certain gender.
when I was doing research on the whole Tesseract thing and, like, how to end up in, like, the Project Pegasus and whatnot, apparently the Dr. Marvel, whatever, like Marvel, she was originally supposed to be a guy. So, like, that's another thing they switch in this movie for the power thing. So that part I do see.
It could be a different universe, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Where, I don't know. But what I'm like, I think you kind of have a point, but also if they would just give our character a really, like, cool motion, like
development.
Yes, just some development instead of, like, oh, she does this because she's strong. Instead of, like, she does this because
And
all of these reasons.
all the
that she
memories
has.
that she has in the past of her, like, doing dangerous stuff, and all those memories are just telling her, or people telling her not to do it
Because
it
it's
is
dangerous.
and you could kill yourself. There was a line specifically in those flashbacks where, like, this guy says it's called a cockpit for a reason. I'm like, oh my god, these lines are so cringe.
But, like, it does explain why she is a pilot, right? Because, like, it is dangerous, right? You risk your life every time you jump in one, right? So it makes sense.
Yeah,
But
she wants to prove that not like she can do it because she wants to, and not because people tell her she can or something like that.
and we also got to unpack a little bit from that, like, little clip there, too. So if you guys want to keep going on it, I'm down, but we have to unpack something there. They said
What?
They talked about how she like it mentioned that you're telling this woman I followed for whatever is an alien now all of a sudden.
Uh-huh.
So at this point, they already know Dr. Marvell, which was their head person and whatnot, is an alien, and that she was working on a secret ship that had the Tesseract within it. Right?
They don't know that it had the Tesseract.
Not yet.
They just know that.
I don't think Rambeau knew, but I'm pretty sure Carol knew for a split second before she got taken by the Kree and her mind got brainwashed. But I don't think Rambeau was on that mission, so she doesn't. I don't think
know
she
it
knows.
as a power source. They
Yes.
just know it as the power source.
Something, super strong.
Which in Captain America, we also saw it as a power source.
Right.
So
Which makes sense
has
because they say over and
energy.
over again that it's a source of unlimited energy.
Yeah,
I wonder how it got its name, the Power Stone.
Yeah, kind of weird. How to
like electricity power. So
And then an actual kind of creepy scene though, when Taylor shows up and just out of nowhere, and then they look outside and one of the Skrulls has impersonated like the mom and is talking to the daughter. That's actually kind of a creepy scene. And he's like, whoa. I'm just here to talk. I know all of you can kill me right now. But it's like I'm just here to talk. And then you get
that's when we find out about the cat. What's it called?
the cat comes into the scene.
He goes,
He's like, whoa.
Get that away from me.
He's like, I don't think you know what that is.
Is it just a cat?
No, that's a flouk. What is it?
Flurkin.
Flurkin.
Which I looked up the powers of a flurkin. They have
Terrifying.
pocket dimensions in their stomach.
Which makes sense.
And they just have like unlimited tentacles that like they eat stuff with.
A question: do they always look like a cat, or can it shapeshift into
I
like
think
a cat?
they're always cats, but I could be wrong.
So there's
Whoa.
just
I think that's the reason they are cats is so you're not assuming that they are
Well, they probably
something
take.
dangerous.
If they could transform, I'm sure they would probably always pick something that would not appear dangerous.
Right.
So you're telling me that this cat decided to disguise as our planet, even though it could be found out somewhere out there in the universe, it's still going to be a cat, just on some random planet.
I guess. See, I don't
Yeah,
know.
who knows who knows how it ended up on the ship? It was just there.
I think they need to like describe this thing a little bit more to us. You know, it's just like it's a cat.
we need the Flurkin movie.
15-minute Marvel short of the flurk.
How did the Flurkin get to Earth?
Yeah. No, it's also strange. Like, I'm always a fan of show and don't tell in movies.
This movie needs to tell some stuff.
It needs to
please.
tell a little bit more. Like, Mandalorian is a show that does perfectly well of show and not tell. But in this movie, we're
Is
just
that a Mandalorian plug? Mandalorian on Disney Plus.
yeah, I'm paid by Disney Plus.
Please.
That'd be pretty sick.
Sponsor me.
That'd be pretty sick.
But this movie, we are left to assume so many things.
Yeah.
For example, like the Tesseract. We had to look up how they got the Tesseract.
Which took me for a little bit of while.
Because in the end of Captain
We're not
America,
even
if you guys
there yet.
remember,
We're not even there yet, my boy.
I was waiting,
What?
but like we might as well go for it.
we know they have the Tesseract.
No, we do not.
Yeah, we do.
Not yet. No, they haven't.
At this very point, we know that she had a
Secret base.
She had a secret base, and they thought that it was on the planet somewhere.
Okay, who cares? This movie sucks.
Okay, no. We'll just speed through this part real
All right.
quick. Okay.
So it turns out that the lab is up in space, and that's when one of the
Which
the
didn't get hit by any
goes,
satellites or any rockets that we shot off.
Obviously, it's in space, and then he's like, "You're my science guy. How did you not know that?" He goes, "Well, I guess. Whoops." Like,
Which didn't get hit by any satellites or any rockets throughout all of
invisible
history.
ship.
I bet you can move around and avoid those objects. But
Nah.
They had
It was still in space. It was just sitting there.
It wasn't allowed to turn on. They couldn't turn it on because it would alert everybody.
But the whole thing is they had a set of coordinates from her memories, which they were trying to keep finding in space. And then all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, what if it's not on Earth? And then boom.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
So they figure out where it is. They make plans to go up there with the head scroll guy. What's his name?
Talos.
Talos.
Talos, Rambeau, Carol, and Fury are all going to go up there.
And the science guy gets left behind to pretend to be Carol when
The science guy.
the Kree
Rip
hit-
science guy.
R.I.P. science guy gets shot.
Because he didn't know what blood was flowing through his veins.
Yeah.
And it was rogues. blood, which
He
is
goes,
weird.
My blood runs through her veins ever
Weird.
since she got to Kree.
Kind of weird, Rogue. Kind of weird.
He's like obsessed with it too.
Oh, super weird.
And then the
So
head.
that's how she got her blue blood. She had a blood transfusion from human blood to Kree blood,
She would have died.
which probably also gave her extra strength.
Oh, for sure.
I assume.
She probably took on some
When
abilities of that.
when does she actually? When does she get the real flashback? Like what actually happens?
That is when. What?
When I think when she
when you
connects
see
to the
Rogue
hive.
actually shoot.
Okay, that is when they go through the black box that
The source. The
Talos had with him.
Oh, okay.
Somehow Talos, he goes, well, I was the main guy of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I got the black box.
True. So and
made
then
a
we
piece
get the actual memory. So yeah, this has happened already. So yeah, we get the real memory of the crash.
Yeah.
So Rogue in the Kree is chasing them, and chasing Carol and
Marvel.
Marvel,
Into space.
and
Oh, no. Oh, no, my bad.
they're
Talking about the flashback.
they're like shooting at each other, and they crash, and she'd have been dead because they go to eject the thing, and like the top of the top of the spaceship, like the glass portion of it, flies off, but they don't shoot out. And then it crashes and it spins and explodes. And I'm like, Carol's dead here because
All she had was a bloody nose.
because she's a human at this point. So she's dead at this. She's dead.
I'm just saying, Formula One cars don't have windows and stuff, and they roll all the time, and they don't die.
I've never seen a Formula One car crash. So
Never.
Then
I choose not to look at that.
here's the thing. Then it exploded.
But she wasn't in it when it exploded, though.
She was pretty close.
It was close.
It was on fire, and she rolled over with her head exposed.
But that's
Her head is decapitated. Don't care. Her head is decapitated.
that's how she gets the powers, though, right?
Well, she shoots.
She doesn't have the powers yet.
But
What
the
happens?
engine.
What happens is he's like, we need the power source. Give us the power source. And she goes, you mean this power source? And then, she shoots the engine.
and that's how she gets. She
Engine
doesn't
goes
have it before.
directly out
She doesn't have
into
it
her
before
body.
she wrecks. She gets it after they wreck.
I know, but the explosion you're talking about, she's simultaneously obtaining the power.
No,
No, different.
no, it's no
Different
because
explosion.
when she
the
shoots
the ship crashes and like is on fire, and that because it tumbles. She should be dead. Gets out of the vehicle, goes over to the lady,
and then she gets shot.
then the
By
lady
Rogue.
gets shot. She's like, no, and he's like, give me the blah blah blah.
And then
And
she
then she
shoots,
shoots-
and
she
you
shoots the
see the
engine.
blue beam go into her,
Yeah, so that's how she gets her powers.
and then the blood that was red turns blue.
no,
No,
it's still red.
it's just she starts
She
glowing.
then gets taken to Kree, and they do a blood transfusion, and now it's blue.
Which is weird.
But you know what that's called, right? It's called plot armor.
Yeah, 100%. No, without a
Yeah.
doubt.
Anybody else in that movie got shot by that beam, they're dead.
No, so that's the whole thing, right? And then we get up to like that's how we know the coordinates because of the flashback from that black box thing because they were trying to head to that like thing in space.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
she saw
And
it.
then how are they powering the ship?
That's with the Tesseract.
Tesseract.
So
People
How did
keep
the
touching the
Tesseract?
Tesseract.
yeah.
Okay.
People keep touching the Tesseract.
So last time we see the Tesseract in Captain America, if you guys remember, it was Howard Stark picking up at the bottom of the ocean.
with the robot.
So Howard Stark has it, and then it ends up in space with Project and we're like, the movie does nothing to show or tell us how it got from there to there.
So I had to do quite a bit of research before we did this because we were like, how do we? And it sat there for like the whole time before we started this. So a main, like pretty reliable source, I don't have it on me right now. I don't remember what it was. I don't have the link open
It
anymore.
was like Marvel Wiki, some nerd.
No,
site.
that was the other one. I went to multiple sources just to kind of confirm it.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is everybody kind of just doesn't know how they got it. She's like, they just somehow acquired it. And like a lot of sources just kept saying that.
Okay.
Like somehow she got it. But then I read another source and it goes on to saying this whole thing was called Project Pegasus.
Yeah.
And so it was a S.H.I.E.L.D. founded thing. And so Howard Stark was obviously a founder of S.H.I.E.L.D. and like helped build it and worked for it. And
Which
it
is
said
also
that,
why it became so secretive after it failed,
yes,
because it's part of S.H.I.E.L.D.
S.H.I.E.L.D. They don't want anybody to know about
Well,
that.
yeah. Fury says it was a multi-million-dollar mistake.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, Howard Stark is the owner or has possession of this thing. and it said he is one of the founders or the person that built Pegasus.
Which is fine. Which is totally
That
plausible.
makes sense.
It's totally plausible, but we are never told this.
Yeah, we're never told this. We're never shown this or
An
nothing.
hour and 50 minutes, and they don't mention it.
Because all we honestly see is she has it, she loses it, somehow it's in space, and then somehow we get it back, and in theory has it in the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
That's all we see. And so apparently he was doing all these tests on it, obviously, right? And apparently in Iron Man we can see his drawings in the book and stuff.
Let's remember this, because there's a scene in Civil War where something happens to Howard Stark.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what year that happened.
Ooh, we have to look it up.
So-
It's just a super overlook.
Yeah.
But so there's that. He gives it to them to continue researching, and they're using it as a power source at this point, which is powering this plane. But she's using it for alternative methods because she is. What do you call
Because she defected from the Kree because she wants to end the war, this unjust war against the Skrulls.
Because she knows the Skrulls are just being
and that's
ravaged.
That's another thing. So we find out that Talos is actually a pretty funny, cool guy. All he wants to do is protect his family and his people because
They've been
the
hunted.
Kree is trying to rule their surrounding
Yeah.
planets.
So no, what happened was the Kree came to the Skrulls and
Yes.
was like, "Listen to us. We own you now. You do what we say because
And
we're going to give
pretty-
you protection."
Pretty base move. The Skrulls are like, no.
Yeah. Then they bomb them.
Then they bomb. Oh, you don't conform to us? Nukes.
Yeah. Planet eradicated.
So that's why they go from planet to planet, because they're trying to escape.
and there's
the
only
Kree.
like he said there's only like 1,000 of them left
And
throughout the universe.
they're in like groups of like 20, just scattered throughout
the galaxy.
the galaxy. Yeah.
And also on that ship.
Yeah.
And then we also get a very good line, I think, from Taylor. Like Captain Marvel said, or Carol says, he's like, "I'm so sorry. Like I had no idea." And a moment of
Sadness.
genuine sincerity from Captain Marvel. And Talos goes, "This is war.
I have blood on
I
my
have
hands,
blood
too."
on my hands too." And it's like, ooh.
I just want to say something.
This
real
is
quick.
this is on the laboratory up in space.
Yes.
That is no longer invisible.
Yes.
Uh,
Which, I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
That the Kree know where they are.
She straight up just turned off the hiding.
Oh yeah, when she goes out to the spaceship, she doesn't have a helmet on, which is like, oh okay.
so here's the thing. I did all that research, and something hit me again. She died at that ship, right? The doctor.
Yes.
Yes, she got shot by Rogue.
Again, we're now confused how the Tesseract ended up there. Because, like,
Well, the Tesseract. She had been working with the scrolls up in space in her lab.
Yeah,
So she had been making a trek up and down into space
and that's probably why
daily.
Yes.
but she didn't physically bring it up there herself because it was in the engine of the aircraft
No.
that crashed.
They use
They
some
use
of
the power. Yeah.
That makes more sense. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
That's why.
And I
when
think
she
that's
shot
why,
it.
and I think that's why the ship was invisible and like
Yeah.
turned off, because she wasn't there anymore.
Yeah. Before she left, she told them, "Do not hit
Yeah.
anything or it." Oh, dude, this is so sad. They get up there, and this little girl scroll,
Little girl or boy, I don't know.
a child, because it's Talos' child, right?
And
Or it's somebody else.
the mom goes, "It's okay. You can meet." And I'm like, "Oh my god, Talos has never seen his child before."
Yeah. Well, also they played pinball.
Yo, she got the high score. She got the high score.
She
in
had like
Space Invaders.
970,000.
They got Space Invaders. They got a pinball. They got a foosball table. It's like, bro, these guys are living.
How can they power this thing? Like, they say don't touch anything because it might.
Well, don't turn on the Find Me beacon. Because-
So it's probably like on
Autopilot.
Autopilot, and the Tesseract's there, so that's how
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
probably how.
And then,
So yeah, then the
the
Kree
Kree
show
show
up,
up.
and it's like, oh, GG.
Yeah.
And they has fight, and
that's the thing
Big
I
fight.
wanted to talk
This
about
fight,
earlier.
pretty cool. Pretty
You
cool
thought
fight.
it was cool? I did not think this
Well,
fight
there
was
was
very
there was
cool.
a piece of it that was cool. She threw a
well,
guy
hold on,
up
hold on,
onto
hold
a
on,
centripetal
hold on.
force.
So she doesn't.
Okay.
She's not like fully powered yet.
Oh yeah. Oops.
So like they capture her, and like everybody else can't even contend with them because they're basically gods to them, and so they all get them down and they do some scans, which gets another funny moment. They're like flirking, specimen, highly dangerous. And they're just like holding it right in front of their faces. And the cat's just like, it's like this thing.
They put it in an electrical cage.
And they put a little muzzle on it, like a tiny little muzzle. It's like this thing could kill everybody in the room.
It goes, human, danger low.
and Nick Fury's like, well, that thing's broken. So and then they get to stand trial or something. They put Carol on the.
She goes back in and meets with the Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah,
and the Supreme Intelligence is such a jerk.
Yeah, she's so
like,
rude.
Nice jacket, thanks.
It's like, yeah, you're too weak. Your whole life has been like things you can't do. Blah 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 blah. And then she's like,
we
and
do
then
get a cool scene here where she goes back in her memories and she continues to get up after all of these accidents.
she's like, you're just human. You're weak. Blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, that's the thing about humans. We do get knocked down. It's like, but sometimes
we get up.
sometimes. And it's like
sometimes you just die.
Which
I mean,
it's
a cool scene.
It's a cool scene and it's a great message.
And she starts.
It's just been done a million times.
Well, yeah, like that's every superhero. Like they're like the same race as another person they're fighting, but since they're human, they can just persevere.
Yeah.
Which it plagues not even superhero movies. That it's a lot of different like I've noticed
sci-fi movie really.
I've noticed it also like when some anime shows like with Dragon Ball Super, like there's a character who's part Saiyan, part human, and this part human part of him
pushes
basically
him to
beat the bad guy, and I'm like, humans suck compared to like highly powered individuals.
Yeah.
So she's like, I know who I am. She like breaks the bondage, and then she just starts beating the crap out of all the other Kree.
she gets out of these bondage. The thing that subdues her power, she just breaks it.
My question is it because the Tesseract is so close to her that she can draw upon more power from it?
She did touch it beforehand.
Yeah, no, just straight up people are touching it.
Okay, that's another thing, right?
Okay.
So if people are touching,
Red Skull
humans are touching the Tesseract.
evaporated.
Red Skull, who is stronger than a human.
Okay, this is my theory on that, right? Because he wanted to physically use it. He wanted to harness his power. He wanted to be a god, right? And I feel like the Tesseract rejected him because in later movies he said, I was cursed to like be this like burden upon me, right? And nobody else is trying to use it, right? He's trying to grab the power from
it melted through the ship.
The old man also
because he used it.
Captain America.
It teleported.
The old man also said this is not power meant for humans.
Yeah.
So nobody should touch it.
No one's using it. And like in like the Avengers movie, when Nick Fury touches it, right?
He touches it?
Yeah, like when like Loki comes and whatnot.
Well, don't worry, he has a glove on.
But yeah, even then he goes and then puts it back. Like he shakes his hand.
Yeah, my thing is, it probably has been used so much now that it
was powering the ship.
Yeah, it has been powering the ship. It gave her powers. It has been used.
And also, they put it in a tin can with the fawns. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't straight up melt through that. Okay.
Apparently, tin is okay.
It's the power of the fawns.
It's the power of the fawns.
I just wanted to point out, Riley, the Tesseract is unlimited power. Though.
I know. But I'm
trying so it shouldn't be weak.
So it should melt people. That's what I'm saying.
It's beyond our comprehension. You know?
No,
it's called a plot hole. And so her powers are suppressed. She kicks the crap out of the Kree.
This is when the cool fight scene happens.
Okay, go. You say your cool thing.
You probably don't like it. I think it's kind of cool. The
spinning thing.
Yeah, she throws a guy onto a centrifugal force machine.
Which I don't know what that was.
But it's probably like gravity.
Yeah.
It's spinning. And then she punches him as he's like coming around.
I thought that was pretty
so cool.
Okay.
Everything else sucked.
That was
because
like
she kills the blue. Well, that happens later, but Blue Lady dies. Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. But so like the thing is like that one thing was cool, but like we talked about earlier, sometimes the songs just don't land with the 80s thing.
Yes.
The song did not match the vibe they're going for.
Correct.
And like we were talking about earlier, she goes, "Huh?" Like she just kicks somebody's butt.
Yep.
She did that quite a few times in this fight scene with the just music that didn't match.
So,
you know?
which to me that means there's no stakes.
Yeah.
If the superhero is just like la di da di da and blows it, it's like bow, so there's no stakes.
Woohoo!
Why do I care? She's not in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, we all know Captain Marvel's basically indestructible.
She's Superman, which is boring.
So then they get on the exit ship, right?
Yep.
So who's all on there?
The
All the scrolls.
scrolls. The dad.
Fury.
Yo.
This is when the Flurkin. This is when the Flurkin.
So like when Talos impersonates one of the Kree guards,
Well,
and,
when-
and he turns to her and he's like, "Remember that thing on Havana?" And he's like, and Fury's like, "Oh."
So in this moment, when she gets her powers back, all of the electricity goes out in the ship, pretty much.
True.
So all of the scrolls are freed.
Mm.
The Flurkin is freed, and all their handcuffs are like just drop.
So they has fight.
Yeah. So Nick picks up, or Fury. I don't want. Oh my goodness. Fury picks up the Flurkin and is like,
Do it.
"I got him. Don't watch out."
And there's like,
And then tentacles come out of this thing's mouth and grab these people and like eat them. And he goes, "Oh my goodness!"
he like
drops it.
He like drops it. It's like, oh. And then a little bit later he tries to do it again, and he's like, "Do it, do it." It's like, whose side are you on, man?
In the meantime, she has the Tesseract with her. She's trying to buy them time.
Yes.
And
She meets up with,
Rogue thinks she has the Tesseract.
well, she meets up with the Flurkin before that, and the Flurkin eats it.
Yep.
So it's now in a pocket dimension in this thing's stomach.
Yeah.
Like, that's
So
one way.
and then, but yeah, Rogue thinks it's in a tin can.
Yeah.
So they has fight, and then the tin can breaks, and she was like, and
He
he's like,
realizes
"Oh,
it's not in there.
distraction."
Oh, I thought it.
So and then Talos gets shot in the back
Yeah.
as they're trying to escape, and I'm like, "Bro, they kill Talos." Nope.
Yeah.
Nah, he's
So everybody
fine.
leaves the ship, and then what's his name? Ronan shows up.
Yes,
With
because he knows.
Three
because-
large bombing ships.
Right, because Rogue gave him the coordinates.
Yeah. After he
Um,
realized that she had been.
Yeah, they're gonna show up and blow up Earth.
Yeah.
And
And
then-
in doing so, Captain Marvel goes through a full ship. She just flies through it.
Taking out nukes in the process. you
Well,
woo, she's
Yeah.
having a great time. Woohoo!
yeah, she is wooing and like.
While her friends are
wahooing.
being shot at down on Earth.
They're no longer being shot at. The rockets that are coming towards them, she's destroying. She's finally unlocked like her full power potential. It's not
I'll
being.
pull that up right now. They're being shot at. They're being
No,
shot.
they are being shot at.
Oh, that's
She's
true.
going
They are
wahoo.
fighting on the ground. That's true.
Yeah.
But like, she's saying woohoo because like these giant nukes aren't gonna come down. You know? She
No,
saved the
she's
day.
saying woohoo because she's having fun.
Well, yeah. Would you have fun flying through the air?
No.
What?
This is
is-
a very serious
This is
part.
some serious stuff. Your friends are in trouble, and the Earth's about to be blown to crap. So it's like, no.
So
Bro,
she blows up
fighter
an entire
pilots.
ship. That's when Ronan goes, "Okay, turn around. We'll come back for her later."
Which doesn't happen because Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh-wee.
Wait, that hasn't happened. What? No.
Yeah. What are those?
What are those? Probably the best movie in the series. Whoa, hot
He's
take.
biased. It's okay.
Obviously, everybody's
He's biased,
biased.
but I think it's also right.
He is also right.
Everybody's biased in everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
So after that, they go away. She goes back down onto the ground,
Yep.
and she communicates. She's like talking with
Rogue.
Friend Rambo.
Rambo. Yeah, no, no,
Rogue.
no. Rogue. She's
I
talking with
said
Rogue.
Rambo.
She's talking with
I
Rogue.
know he said Rambo.
Rogue.
Yeah,
He's like,
and he's like, "Listen,
I can't go back.
yeah." He's like, "I can't go back. Let's have a conversation. Fight me one on one, no powers." And then she just
Pew.
blasts him.
Right,
And I'm
really,
like,
really showed him there, didn't you?
Yeah, he's like trying to convince her, like, you're finally doing the thing I want you to do. And
yeah. Oh my goodness.
really showed him there, didn't you?
Yeah. She picks him up, throws him into the machine.
That doesn't work.
She blew the wing off of it, and then she closes the lid, types in holla.
Here's a message like, I'm coming and I'm gonna destroy the Kree, which sort of makes sense to like where she's been in like all the Avengers movies and whatnot.
yet she didn't do it
but
by
then she
guardians.
turns on the thing. The back's sputtering because it just crashed because there's no wing. She goes pew and like
Yeah,
shoots it,
she shoots it and it's like,
Fixes
oh, it works. Oh,
and it takes off. It should be missing a wing.
the same thing that she used to take it down with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the thing
Doesn't make any
the
sense.
thing she shoots it down with is what she uses to power. Okay.
Yeah, that
This movie's so dumb.
And then I think we're pretty much at the end.
Oh, we did
Yeah.
miss one part in the middle there where she changes her color of her suit from the green.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
this that happens right after that.
So
That's right.
she-
I thought she did it before, like they had
no,
this
she
whole
did
big
it
fight.
before. She
and
did it
then so she's looking down
before
at
they went up into space.
Monica, I think is the daughter's
Yes.
name, and she's like, "Well, I should be on your team." So she changes the color of her suit, which is comic accurate, I guess,
To red, blue, and
with
gold.
red and blue and gold.
But she had a really cool color.
The
before.
glow suit,
It was like glow in the dark, like if you think of like skating
neon.
rinks,
It was like a neon.
like a
Yeah.
skating rink, like neon. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Weren't you guys kind of crapping on the fact, like, oh, like too much 80s, you know?
Yeah,
Neon
no,
stuff?
but that would have been cool.
Keep that part in there.
Yeah,
That's cool.
everything else, get rid of it.
Does she ever like change her suit at all, like Spider-Man does? You know? Dang. that'd be cool.
She's just kind of a boring character.
So she then modifies Fury's.
She also gets a jacket.
Yeah, she gets a jacket. Gonna evaporate.
As soon as she hits outer orbit into space, that thing's just woof. Should be
Also,
gone.
she's like a flaming person, like a
Yeah,
human
Yes.
torch.
100%. It makes no sense. She gives Fury a pager,
His pager.
his pager, but she modified it to
And
reach
she's
a
like,
couple galaxies.
"You're only gonna page me when it's super serious, okay?"
in emergencies only. And
Does he ever get to use it?
yeah. I mean, so yeah, she goes off, starts fighting Kree.
Yeah, so that's
In-
where
in
she
our
that's
minds,
that's
anyway.
that's where she's been for like the
we have
the
a
next couple movies.
After credit scene that makes no sense if you're watching these in order.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So we won't talk about that one because it's from Endgame.
Yeah.
So we don't. So if you're watching this in chronological order, you have no idea who these people are.
You know Steve, right?
I guess you know who Steve is, but
She just randomly
Wow, he looks really different.
and then
shows up in a room full of random people.
and then we get like Fury's like, since she's gone, we need other protectors.
Yeah.
We don't know what else is out there, and that's how we get the Avengers Initiative.
No, hold on. It was gonna be called the Protector.
Yeah.
Initiative.
Which was lame.
Then he looked at a picture and on like her name was Carol Avenger Danvers. And I was like, is it the Avenger Initiative or is it the Avengers Initiative?
Yeah, Avengers.
We'll never know. And we'll never know.
Yeah, because it doesn't show the screen when he types it in. It's like, and then the other after credit scene is
The Flurkin throws up the Tesseract onto his desk.
which that actually kind of makes sense because in the Avengers, Shield has the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Which, like, all that makes sense until, like, that little in-between part, you know?
Yeah. So
We forgot one big thing.
what?
What?
The eye. The eye.
What eye?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh,
Devin hates it. We got to talk about
oh
it.
man. So Fury lost his eye to the dang Flurkin.
And how did he originally describe that, Devin?
He could,
We'll get to it, but it's one of the coolest scenes that Nick Fury has, and he's talking to somebody. He's like, "I'm your friend, Fury. Don't you have any trust?" He's like, "Last time I trusted somebody, I lost an eye," and I'm like, "That is so cool. How did he lose his eye? He got scratched by a cat.
and it never healed.
Never heals."
Well, that's because of the powers of the
And
Flurkin.
something else,
Yeah, yeah.
And something else, Riley, you thought to keep track of. He has 3 scratches
Yeah,
in this movie.
in this movie he has 3 scratches.
So
I
we want to
don't
make
remember.
sure how many we want to look
look
how many
back.
scratches he has in the next movies.
I think they're pretty good about that stuff.
Probably, but
For the most part,
I
MCU
did not
is pretty
remember
good.
there being 3 scratches.
I bet you it's one big one with like 2 like minor ones.
That's what I'm
beside.
saying. But we only see the one.
Uh,
Sus? I believe so.
Overall, didn't like it. At Max, there's a couple people that carry this movie. Samuel L. Jackson carries it hardcore.
For sure.
Lashana Lynch carries it with her monologues.
Emotionally, yeah.
Talos is the comedic part of this movie, and also he has some heavy hitting scenes with like the war and like his family. But here's the problem: we don't like our main character, and
Very
there's
dull.
no progression of our main character. And
I mean,
There's progression, but like not
if
emotionally.
she had a character like development,
Mm-hmm.
I would like her more.
yeah,
But because the movie does not have any kind of development in her character besides, now she's going after the guys that she was with.
she's arrogant and she's a strong, independent woman. That's her only two
The
things.
only thing that like developed is she became physically stronger, like
Yeah,
power wise.
that's it.
Yeah.
Not emotionally, not like plot wise. It's just
Which is really bad because we just came off a movie where it had a really good message of your strength doesn't matter.
and then
That's not-
power.
And the most I can give it is maybe a 4.5 or a 5 out of 10. That's the most I can give it.
Yeah, I was gonna look up the Rotten Tomatoes score, but I
Oh.
don't know how to. I could not
Tomato?
physically think fast enough to type that out.
You go, and we'll look it up for you.
Okay, so I thought the movie was really. The first time I watched it, I was like, "This is a good movie," and then they came out with banger after banger.
So
and it
the audience score is 45%, and the critic score, the tomato meter, is 79%. So yeah, kind of a little difference there, huh?
Yeah, some people liked it, some people don't. You know.
Well, that's the critics versus the actual audience. So don't take the critics.
I don't know
word.
what a critic is. So
They're people who watch movies professionally.
oh, okay.
Do
Yeah.
critics watch movies too?
What?
What?
So they actually like open their eyes in the movie, or because it doesn't seem like it.
They don't taste the movie?
Yeah. So I mean, in this movie, I really liked it the first time I watched it, but then they released Endgame, and or no, they released what did they release for the
They released Infinity War first.
Infinity War.
Endgame, Spider-Man
I was like,
movies.
Oh my goodness, these are so good, and this show just does not hold up.
So
to
I had
those.
that exact same. So when I remember watching this, it was after one of those. It was after one of the big ones, and I was stoked on Marvel movies, and I'm like, Captain Marvel's coming out. And I was like, all right, woo, Captain Marvel, let's go.
It's just not there.
I love this because I hadn't watched it. And he like watched it like a month before I did.
Yeah.
And he just kept trash talking every time we went to dinner. It was just
So bad.
crapping on his movie.
So bad.
So when I came in, I didn't really have high hopes, so I wasn't too bummed about it. But
I mean, yeah. So I liked it the first time. The second time, I realized all of the stuff that's wrong with it. But it could have just been because I was watching it with you, Devin, and you're very critical of movies.
Well, yeah, pressure. I mean, if you don't want to like,
If you don't want to think about the
if
movie.
you don't want to think about the movie, yeah, don't watch it with me.
Yeah, but I mean, I give it probably a 6.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
A low 6.
Whoa.
I'm talking like it's scraping the bottom of a 6.
Like barely 6.
Yeah. Like the only thing that holds it up is the monologues
Mm-hmm.
and the emotions.
so since like I was told like this doesn't really have that big of an effect because it's in the past and whatnot, so it's not going to affect anything currently. I was mainly watching it just to make sure I get all the canon and what things
That's
happened in the
the only
past. I
reason I
wanted to
watched
watch
it.
it.
Which is, yeah, it's important in the MCU.
And I didn't have high hopes going into it, and I definitely don't think it's that good of a movie.
It could probably be skipped. Honestly, it could be skipped.
That's what he kept saying every time.
Because the only thing that happens that is any kind of significance now in the newer movies of the MCU is the scroll.
the scrolls, yeah, just defining what they are and like what their morals are.
Yeah.
Which you get who they are and what they are pretty quickly in the after credit scene. They're aliens that can transform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It could be a skip.
I'm gonna go with a 4. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it honestly, unless you really want to get the story behind it. Other than that,
if you like the 90s, this is definitely the movie for you.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess thanks for listening. If you have any
Comments,
Comments,
questions, concerns
email us at silverscreenpod
at gmail.com.
at gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.